What's up, guys? Welcome once again to the Save Continue podcast. My name is Ryan Robinson. This here's Tom Shelby.
Hello.
That's Shanae Howard. Every week we get together and we talk about video games and shit. What's going on, Shanae? Have you, with all the Paddington that you've been ingesting, have you had any time to ingest any sort of video game related media?
Well, I finished all the stuff for the Charming Empire, and then...
Oh, you finished it?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Was it good?
It started off pretty good. It didn't...
There was hesitation there, yeah.
Then the endings weren't great. Everyone said that they do, like, the brothers one last.
Yeah.
And it was just, like... It was just bad.
I feel like I don't know what you're talking about.
The game she was talking about last week.
The Switch you told me.
Oh, right.
Yeah, no, it was just bad.
Yeah.
They can't all be winners.
Yeah, it's just like...
You regret your purchase.
The last...
Birdo's purchase.
So. Nah, it was... I mean, I got like two of them were really good. The rest were just kind of like... Alright, and then like one was meh, and then...
Well, so at least some of the endings were
yeah,
good.
the other two were just like... Okay.
Yeah.
So how long is each of these story paths?
Like... I don't know, half, 2 hours.
2 hours? Wow, it's kind of long.
And how many?
Well, I mean, like, if you read it, like, how it's supposed to... I mean, I read fast, so I just, like... I mean, y'all saw me with the horse game. Like, I read fast, I just, like, click through it. And even then, it was still taking me at least an hour. So
That's surprising.
I imagine each one's, like... Well, it's supposed to be... It was originally on mobile, and so I never played the mobile version. But I'm assuming it's one of those chapter unlock ones.
Oh, yeah.
So so a lot of the stuff was, like fast paced in some parts, and then like really dragged out in others. So I assume that was to try and make some money, and also like when you play it, if you only play like 5 chapters in a day, it kind of like you get a story, so it's a lot in little.
So the free to play model kind of messed up the pacing of the story.
Yeah. And then I've just been playing, and then I've been getting back into Kingdom Hearts 2. Cool. Playing a lot of that. I've put another like 20 hours into it, so.
Cool.
I forgot how cute the Lion King level was, because Sora's a little lion and Goofy's a turtle and like a Donald's some sort of flying bird that's found in the Sahara that I don't know, or Savannah. Yeah. And then Pete is like one of the main...
Savannah, Georgia?
Yes, it's some kind of bird in Savannah, Georgia. And then Pete, even that is like a lion, and I forgot about that. He's like a fat lion who immediately falls off of Pride Rock, like the first time you see him.
Pete?
Mickey's villain, the cat dog weird thing.
Oh yeah, I know him from Goof Troop.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's like...
And his son, PJ.
Yeah, so they're like weird cat-dog things. But yeah, they make him a lion instead of a hyena, and like, he's just a super fat lion and immediately falls off Pride Rock.
That made me think of, there's a, one of the DLCs for Borderlands 2 was, that Flintlock guy.
Oh yeah.
His big game hunt DLC. And
Hammer or something?
Yeah, Hammerlock, yeah. Sir Hammerlock's big game hunt, and like through the entirety of that DLC, you're kind of being like berated by some mad scientist guy like over the radio, and he's supposedly like the last boss of the whole thing, and then like you finally get to him. And he goes off into this, he's like standing at the top of this huge flight of stairs, and he goes into like this whole like monologue, but then he trips and he falls, and then like as he's falling down the stairs, like his health bar is just going down, and then like you don't actually fight him because like by the time he gets to the bottom of the stairs, he's just dead. That was really funny. So that's what Pete falling down made me think of.
Unfortunately, that's not what happens with Pete. He continues to pop back up. But yeah. No, it was funny to see him with just like a super fat lion and just fall over.
Yeah.
and bounce down.
So so in about 6 years when you get to play Kingdom Hearts 3, how are you gonna feel about? How are you still gonna you're still gonna be into it after all the Kingdom Hearts you've been digesting?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought about trying to get into it, but I was just like, I don't think I have it in me to absorb all of that content in such a short period of time.
You know, I don't really. I mean, it's okay. IGN does this series, and I bet you'll do one with Kingdom Hearts, where if it's a long-running franchise and the new game is about to come out,
Yeah.
they'll try to explain everything that's imperative for you to know within like half an hour.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of other ones that are like half an hour and like know all you need to know about Kingdom Hearts in half an hour.
Yeah.
And then I'm just like, oh, that's so much information dropped
Well,
out.
obviously, there's going to be things that are left out, but
it's
what
like,
the
but
intention is to give you enough to grasp the story to play the next game.
But yeah, but it's also like you're not gonna get why these things happened. Like it's important details.
So they're leaving out a lot of context.
I mean, I don't know
Well,
what they're
I
leaving
think-
out considering they haven't made it yet, but
No, I'm saying I've seen other 30-minute things for Kingdom
Yeah.
Hearts, and I'm just like, oh, this is.
If you were to explain Kingdom Hearts as you understand it, how long would it take you?
I
today
think
takes a long time to explain something that should take 5 minutes.
Okay. So how long do you think it would take you?
I don't know, like 5 years.
I mean, think about how long our Paddington conversation just was.
Well, I mean, it wasn't really a conversation. She was kind of just like giving us the screenplay.
Sure.
Of like an hour and 45-minute movie, and it wasn't that long.
It felt long.
Oh, it's because it's about Paddington. And you hate Paddington.
Yeah.
But it wasn't.
I'm largely indifferent to Paddington, but you
It
seem
wasn't-
excited.
No, well, I was just trying to get all of it out and just like, all right, this is what's happening. Realistically, just trying to do what you like just need to know in context. I say at least an hour.
And that's an hour of continuous talking about
Well, I
Kingdom
need
Hearts.
charts and pictures.
I feel like I would get confused looking at all the charts and pictures.
No.
It's like I watched one for Metal Gear that they had done, and there are little things that you're not going to get, obviously, right?
Yeah.
But as far as like what really matters to the main story, it's fine, you know.
The weird thing about I listen to people talk about Metal Gear a lot as far as the story is concerned, and they make it sound like it's just like super convoluted and it's hard to follow. And like granted, they're like that story does contain like a lot of weird shit in it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess I just never felt like I was lost in that story. I always felt like it was pretty easy to follow.
It's weird for me you going into 5 having never played Peace Walker
Yeah.
and feeling that way.
Yeah.
Because 5 is basically a continuation of Peace Walker.
Yeah. It's just it's kind of like it's just basically a prettier Peace Walker.
No, but I mean story-wise,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you know you go from Peace Walker to Ground Zeroes.
Like the whole
Phantom
thing
Pain.
with like Paz and
Yeah.
all that, like, you have no context for who that is,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, like even like going into Phantom Pain, where because like the whole like that game ends with like with you saving Paz and
Right.
you're like why am I here for this like who is this lady?
Exactly.
And like she I mean obviously she's like a really central character in Ground Zeroes, but like
And also in Peace Walker.
yeah, so like I feel like Ground Zeroes like makes a lot of assumptions about what you've played up to that point.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like
I would say, like, I could see why people would feel that way. Because,
Yeah.
like, Peace Walker, while it does obviously now tie into the main story, that's like a spin-off game. It's not
Yeah.
part of the mainline series,
Yeah.
you know?
well I mean
Much like a lot of the Kingdom Hearts stuff.
yeah I mean it's just a sentiment that I hear from people who've played as many Metal Gear Solid games as I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I would like the idea of getting into Kingdom Hearts at this point. It's appealing just because of
Fun.
it looks like it's fun, but it's just like at the same time it's just like I don't know. I don't think I have it. I don't think I have the energy
All right.
for it.
What if you just like picked 3 games that you're wanting to play? I'm assuming like 1, 2, and then some side game. I'll do synopsises for the other ones.
Synopses.
Synopses.
Yeah.
Synopsi.
I wouldn't know which ones to pick. I wouldn't like. I'd know 1 and 2 because that would just be a logical choice. But like after that, I wouldn't know what to. I would just pick another game at random.
Oh, whatever that's cool. Yeah, that's fine.
You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna scoot over, and Shanae, you're gonna scoot over too. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna scoot over here.
Okay.
All right. All right. So next time, Shanae, you're gonna sit where I'm sitting, and I'm gonna sit where you're sitting. Okay. But I would just pick another game at random. Like I'd be just as likely to pick like one of the GBA games or like the Bobo game or something.
Well, obviously, it would have to be a game that you could play.
Yeah.
But I mean, those seem imperative enough that they choose to include them.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, so I mean, I feel like no matter what game I choose, then you have to fill in the blanks somewhere.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. I wonder how long. I mean.
Or even just do 1 and 2, and I'll do all the other games.
Like, how long does it take to mainline like the first game?
Not that long, honestly.
Yeah.
There's even worlds that you can completely skip.
Yeah.
If you wanted to.
Hmm.
It's the same as most RPGs, man. Like how much do you want to do?
But also like the first game is just quite short. Each of the worlds only have like 1 or 2 areas you go to.
Sure.
And then also you only need to go through all the worlds once.
Mm-hmm.
And then with 2, you have to go back to each world multiple times.
Yikes.
So I know it's nice because each one, when you go through it, is such like a short story that like I'm already like looking forward to when I'll be playing Mulan World again, because I'm like, oh, I want to go back and because like I just thought it was really cool. And
Is Eddie Murphy in that?
yes. And then there is things that you can.
But it's actually Eddie Murphy.
Is it?
I don't.
I'm asking.
I don't know. Not off the top of my head, I don't know.
Okay.
But
That'd be cool.
I'm assuming so because they got a lot of other main voice actors.
It might just be archive footage.
That's true.
Um.
That's what the Lego games do now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I mean, I like it, and there's like certain moves that you can only do in each world, and there's just like slightly different things and mechanics in each world that I think are really fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I was just thinking about like where like why I stopped the first game, and I don't know if it was because I got stuck or
How could you remember, right?
yeah, it was just so long ago. I know that at some point I stopped, and then I lost the disc, and then I just
Fuck it.
yeah I was just like never mind. And it's funny because I actually when that game came out I actually asked for that game for Christmas, because I at the time I really wanted it, but now I'm just like
Yeah.
I've had 3 copies of the game.
yeah. What about you, Tom? What are you up
Well,
to?
not 4, yes.
Well, speaking of 4 copies of a game, I picked up Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 again. Been playing a little bit of that. Playing a lot of Street Fighter 5. And just last night started Dead Rising 4.
How are you liking that?
It's a lot of fun. I started Dead Rising 3 a few months ago. Played like 6 hours and then just stopped.
Did you just like lose interest or?
Yeah, I mean, it's Dead Rising, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's the same thing, over and over and over again.
Right.
This one's better written.
Sure.
As far as the comedy, like, the comedy's actually pretty good.
Yeah. You get a few audible chuckles out of it.
Yeah, and it's weird, right? Like, there's some people that say this is the best Dead Rising, and there's a lot of people that say it's the worst one. A lot of people miss the timer.
Why?
Makes the game harder. People like that. Adds to the tension.
Okay.
I've never looked at Dead Rising as a horror game. I've looked at it more as a comedy.
Yeah.
So I don't really need the tension to be added there.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun so far.
So one of the criticisms I've heard of Dead Rising 4 is that it's too easy.
I'll say this: I haven't died yet.
Yeah.
But
Have
Like-
you undied?
swing and a miss.
Yep. That would have been one of the times where I would have been totally okay with the soundboard.
Yeah, it does seem very easy. I don't necessarily see that as being a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you at any point gotten close to dying?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Sure. But like health is all over the place, and
Yeah.
there's like a quick heal.
Yeah.
Like you just hit down on the D-pad, and right away.
Is it is it an expendable item?
Yeah.
Or, okay.
I mean, it's just food you find around the
I see.
mall.
Yeah. I
Go to
heard
the food court.
they took out the psychopaths.
I think that there's something still similar, but I'm not positive yet.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm like 3-4 hours in.
I remember playing Dead Rising 1, and my least favorite thing about Dead Rising 1 was having to fight the psychopaths. Just because, like, I always felt like the controls and, like, the mechanics of the game didn't really support, like, what you kind of needed to do to fight those guys.
So the controls are definitely improved over any previous Dead Rising that I've played.
Yeah.
The controls are good. They're not great, but they're good. And then there's like these fresh infected, like newly infected people are more ravenous and do more damage.
Okay.
But I don't know. It's dumb, you know? It's a dumb fucking zombie game, and it's supposed to be. Like,
So,
it knows what it is.
Why
you
is
know?
Frank back in Willamette?
So he's a teacher, like a professor.
Professor of what?
I'm assuming like journalism or something like that, you know?
Okay.
And
It's business communications.
Sure.
he's got this student who has dragged him there.
Okay.
And then she kind of, I don't want to say she backstabs him, but it seems that way. Like I said, I'm still very early in,
Mm.
but you know, he keeps trying to get out.
Sure.
They keep pulling him back in.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always been a fan of the Dead Rising games. Like for as clunky as they always have been.
This is the least clunky one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've always been a really big fan of them. But I don't know. I remember playing Dead Rising 3, and I played that game through storyline completion.
Yeah.
It really becomes like I could see why like you fell off after 6 hours in, because it got to a point like it just kind of becomes a slog, and you're just kind of like over and over like.
And there's things that carry over, you know.
Yeah.
There are very similar things across all 4 games, but
You sent a picture of you dressed like Guile. Were you doing sonic booms?
no sonic booms.
Flash kicks?
No, none of that stuff. Not yet, anyway.
Because I remember you were playing Dead Rising 3 and you were dressed like Blanca and you were able to do something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I
right.
think you were able to do his.
He had like electricity thing though.
Yeah, because like it was the Blanca mask with a car battery, I think.
Yeah, because like so they have the whole like weapon crafting thing,
Yeah.
which is still present here, but it's like not as heavily emphasized. Like it's still there. You still find the blueprints and
Yeah,
put 2 things together to make something else, but there's seems to be fewer.
sure.
Yeah.
Can you see Dead Rising 5?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how well this game sold, but Capcom seems willing to release this over and over and over again.
Yeah.
You know, so
Was Frank West in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite?
I believe so. I'm not positive.
Well, I don't know. I wanted to play it, but I feel like I'm just not willing to pay for it at this point.
Infinite?
No. Dead Rising 4.
So I got it as part of the Humble Monthly. So I was like $12. The other games I don't really want, but $12 for that game was fine.
What else did you get?
Ruiner, which I already had.
Right.
Kerbal Space Program, which I have no interest in.
Sure.
You don't care about space?
I mean, people love that game. That game kind of took over Twitch for a while.
Yeah.
But it's just not my kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And then more games throughout the month that I don't know what they are. But even if it was $12 just for that last Dead Rising,
yeah,
you know, I don't think that's bad.
yeah, they find like
As a matter of fact, I think I had like some credit because you know when you buy from them, like you accumulate some change. I think it's determined by how much you give the charities. I'm not positive.
well, no, because they give you the choice. Like, do you want to put this in your humble wallet or do you want to give it to charity?
I see.
So,
Yeah. Well, apparently I've been putting it in my wallet and saying "fuck you, charity."
Sure.
So I ended up paying like $8.
It's like I've given you enough, right?
As a matter of fact, yeah.
So I have returned to Mad Max.
That's right. You jumped ship on Horizon.
Yeah, because
back into Mad Max.
Yeah, so I booted up Horizon after not because I got Monster Hunter and that took over my life for a couple months.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what, this Horizon thing is kind of bugging me. I'm gonna go back in and I'm going to just finish this up, right? So I boot up Horizon and I'm playing it for like an hour and I'm like, I don't know who any of these people are.
Sure.
I don't know where I am. I don't know how to play this game.
I don't know who I am.
And like I was like, I forgot why I should care about any of this stuff. And I was like, you know what? I guess I decided like what I'm gonna do. I was like, I'm just gonna start this game over at some point later on down the road because I can't. I tried to jump back in. Like I didn't want to do the nuclear option of just like restarting the game, but I can't get into it at this point.
Here's the thing, though. It'll still be a good game
Yeah.
when you decide to go back to it.
Yeah, and it'll allow.
It's not going anywhere.
Yeah, it'll allow me to get some other stuff that I'd missed up to this point in the playthrough. But yeah, I've started to go. I went back to Mad Max, and the cool thing about Mad Max is that like that is a game that I could just load up an old save and just like I don't care where I was in the story.
Yeah.
I'll just keep going. It's like I've seen all those movies. I know what's going on, so I'm not really worried about it. But so the main reason I decided I was going to boot it back up is because I wanted to get those trophies.
Sure.
Um,
You get some of that guzzling.
yeah, I need to get all the guzzling, and it's more plentiful than it probably should be.
Sure, yeah.
Because it's kind of just like people are just like it's so plentiful.
Like your car's not running out of gas.
Yeah,
You're
like, it's
fine.
just so plentiful that people are like literally leaving it lying around.
Yeah.
So and like or using it as grenades because it's just everywhere. But yeah, a lot of for an open world game, you can imagine like a lot of the trophies are like go pick up all these things,
Yeah.
or go clear out all these settlements or whatever. So I prioritize.
So unique.
Yeah, sure. So I prioritized it. So there are scavenging locations littered across the entire world map.
Oh yeah.
So like one of the trophies is like
Come get those scraps.
like loot everything in all of those locations. So I've kind of just prioritized just doing that because I was like I want to get this out of the way so I don't have to worry about it later. And
well, that and you do that and you're like OP for the rest of the stuff.
yeah, you know, and if it weren't for I would absolutely hate doing that if it weren't for the fact that like driving around in that game is just so fucking fun.
I like doing that stuff though, like the mindless stuff like that.
Yeah.
Even though it's a much smaller game, when Second Son first came out,
Yeah.
I went and did like all the graffitis and collected all the bullshit in like an hour or two.
Yeah.
And just like, you know, had a fucking podcast playing, like
Yeah, and that's-
relaxing.
I like grinding to an extent, but I like collectibles the most. Like right now, I keep pausing the game to like see if I got all these like in Kingdom Hearts 2, see if I got all these puzzle pieces that I
Yeah.
could possibly get. Because then you can't get into like the third or fourth visit.
Like jiggies?
Like little puzzle pieces, and you can like put the puzzles together.
Well, like jigsaw puzzle pieces?
Like what are they called? Where it's like they just like they're all squares, and you have to like turn them around and like move
Oh, like
them.
a tile puzzle.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
a tile puzzle.
I was hoping it was like jiggies from
The puzzle
Banjo.
pieces that when you see them just look like crowns though.
See, as someone who's never played banjo,
Yeah.
like I thought that was just your word for jigsaw pieces. I
No,
was
no,
like,
jiggies. Yeah.
yeah, you know, it's
No, I like that stuff.
it's Banjo's one of those franchises that people have a lot of fondness for,
Yeah.
and I feel like I should, you know, I have access to the first two games.
Oh yeah, on the Rare Collection.
Yeah, and I just never got around to playing them. But
They've aged,
yeah,
but they're still fun.
I really don't understand the affection for nuts and bolts because
Nobody likes nuts and bolts.
like I've heard a lot of people talk about how much they like nuts and bolts, and I don't get it.
Wow, I only ever hear people bad mouthing.
Yeah, I can understand why because that
Yeah.
game sucks.
But you know what? At this point, like Banjo and Banjo Tooie, like they're good games. You should play them, especially since you already have them. But like, I'd say maybe just play ukulele.
Sure, and also like every time I've loaded up the rare replay collection, one of two things happens. Either I play the arcade version of Battletoads,
Oh yeah.
or I'm playing Grab by the Ghoulies. That's the only thing that happens. I don't know.
I do want to do an update. So your favorite like second player character or brother character from last week?
Oh shit! I gotta be honest with you today. I didn't think about it at all. I didn't think about it at all.
Who did I say last week? Earl?
Yes.
And it had to be a multiplayer game, right?
No, it
Yeah.
didn't have to be.
I
I
could-
thought.
Well, it has to be at least co-op.
Okay.
Fuck.
You should say
What did I
that
say before, Luigi?
Yeah.
Elvis the alien from Perfect Dark.
You don't have to give a reason. You could just change your answer. That's fine.
You can take mine. You can say Earl.
No, Earl sucks.
You want to do physical challenge?
What about Blaze? No.
What are you
Luigi's better.
Were you talking about from Streets of Rage?
Yeah.
Blaze is pretty cool. She's good with a knife. Probably better with.
Yeah, Blaze. Luigi's kind of boring. Blaze.
Yeah.
What about you? Still Earl?
You know what?
Yeah. It is still Earl.
It was never really Earl. Like.
But now it is.
I mean.
Oh shit. Dom.
Oh yeah, Dominic Santiago. Yeah,
That's
number
the
one.
real one.
That's number one right there.
Yeah.
Dominic Santiago. Rest in peace, Dom.
Both of you?
Yes.
Yes, Dominic Santiago.
Alright.
He had to shoot his wife in the head in Gears of War 1.
That's true.
Or was it 2?
I don't
Gears
know.
of War 2. He had to shoot his wife in the head with that hand cannon at point blank range.
Oh.
And it was supposed to be touching. Like that moment was supposed to be touching.
So,
Yeah.
should it, have you...
As someone with
Have you
no
ever-
reference.
Okay, have you ever
to any-
played any of the Gears of War games?
I told you no. It's a series I never got
Okay.
into.
They're fun, but they're just super bro.
Okay, so...
like
So, the one of the subplots of Gears of War...
Is wife murder.
Well, okay, so Dom is like...
I'm not
So
You're not wrong.
the locusts come out of the earth and they start attacking humans, right? And during that time, Dominic's wife is taken by them, and so he becomes obsessed with.
Would you
could
say
say she's grabbed by the ghoulies.
Dominic's wife was grabbed by the ghoulies.
I was
Man,
like,
it would
she's
have been.
taken Liam Neeson.
Man, it would have been so fucking perfect if Gears of War was a rare game. But she's grabbed by the ghoulies, and it was not until Gears of War 2 that Dominic finds her, and at
Is she
first.
infested?
Well, look, when you first see her, like the game shows you Dominic's image of her and has you remember her as this like beautiful lady. Then it snaps back to reality, and she's just this fucking skeletal puppet. Like,
Isn't she in like some sort of like
she's in some sort of like
sarcophagus type
yeah,
thing?
the sarcophagus. Like
Yeah.
she's just like all skeletal and like weird looking,
Yeah.
and then like
Is she alive?
yeah, she like barely, I guess. And then like she's looking up,
Kill me.
well, she doesn't say that, but like
Did
the
she
funny
say that with her eyes?
the funny part to me was that like Dominic, he's holding her and he looks up at Marcus. He's like, oh, Marcus, what do I do? And then Marcus is like, I don't know. And then like
I don't know.
and then Dom pulls out this like he's like crying and he pulls out this huge fucking hand cannon and like he just pushes it to her temple and we're like you're supposed to
No one's
feel,
like-
You're supposed to be sad,
But, like,
You're
you
supposed-
can't.
Yeah.
No one's like, yeah, we should get her to a medic.
No, that's not happening.
Nah, she's been grabbed by the ghoulies.
past that point.
You know.
Science is amazing.
There's
no science left.
there is a
No science
there-
is left in Gears of War?
There is an affliction
Is
in the
technology?
Gears of War
That's-
universe known as rust lung, and I have to believe that she's been afflicted by rust lung.
Real quick trivia before this runs out.
Okay.
Uh,
What is rust lung?
I don't know. So this I came across this on Twitter, and it's just something I hadn't seen since Xbox 360. Actually, I shouldn't have said that because that's kind of a clue. What Mega Man game has Chun-Li appeared in? Not counting the Street Fighter Cross Mega Man.
I'm never gonna get these.
She's a news reporter.
I don't know.
Mega Man 9.
I don't know.
Oh my god! You don't let me guess. I've guessed and been
What-
right.
what-
You wouldn't have guessed it.
You wouldn't have guessed it.
You just said I'm never gonna get these.
Right.
You literally just said
You
that.
did say that.
I
That's
could be-
basically you saying I forfeit.
I'm also wrong quite a lot.
Sure.
Yeah, that's
I could
true.
be wrong about that.
Sure.
That's why we started feeding the news to you.
I was gonna say Mega. Oh, that's wrong.
And we'll be right back. Yeah. Thanks for bringing us. Is this wine?
Yeah, it's rosé.
Thanks for bringing us the wine, Shanae.
But we're drinking again because Rez liked it. Rez says last week was really funny. I told him the only difference was that we were drinking.
Also, we were both exhausted.
That's true.
we both
is
were
hard.
we both were so sleep deprived.
It's hard shifting to nights. You know?
Yeah.
Alright, we're recording by the way.
Hi. Welcome back to the Save Continue podcast.
Oh, hi, I didn't see you come in.
I'm sorry that we have to do it at nighttime, guys. I wish we didn't.
The nighttime is the right time.
Yeah,
Alright.
that's true. So Shanae, you want to talk about Earl from Toe Jam and Earl?
No. No.
Okay. You want to talk more about Dominic Santiago's wrestling with his grief over the loss of his love?
I mean, he apparently pulled out a giant hand cannon, so I feel like he dealt with it pretty well.
Sure. I feel like the only two people who have dealt with loss in those games is Dominic and Marcus. As far as I could tell, anyway. Because Dominic had to take care of his wife, and then...
I wouldn't necessarily call it taking care.
You know what's funny is, like, whoever storyboarded that,
Mhm.
can you imagine those storyboards? Like, somebody made those panels,
Right.
and in one of those panels, this huge gun comes out.
I feel like maybe it was
They're like,
more...
this will really be impactful.
I feel like originally it wasn't that, but someone's like, oh, well, he uses his hand cannon, so we gotta put it in, and the guy's just like, well, it's a little insensitive. No, man, we gotta do it for the merch.
There's pistols in that game. Couldn't have been a pistol, you know?
Does Dom
Yeah.
use a pistol often?
You could.
Yeah.
I'm saying, does he though? Or does he use a hand cannon?
I guess it just depends on...
You gotta keep it...
I guess it just depends on whether or not someone's controlling him.
That game had a movable cover, and it was pretty cool.
There's a part in the very start of Gears of War 2. You're fighting the locust in your base, and at one point it takes you into an infirmary, and when you go to take cover against a gurney, against the gurney, then like when you take cover against it, like your guy will like reach up and pull it down, and I thought that was really awesome.
All right. So in Gears of War, the main characters are Dom, Marcus, Maria, or is that Dom's wife?
Well, no, Maria's not a main character.
All right, who else is the main character?
Okay, so
Cole.
you got Dom, Marcus, Cole, and Bayard. Those are the four
And,
bros. Then you got supporting cast. You have Anya.
All right, just the main characters.
Okay.
If you could tell me one thing about each of those main characters that you'd want me to know as a non-Gears of War fan.
Nothing.
Obviously, Dom kills his wife with a hand.
I like the joke of idolizing Dominic Santiago because I think it's funny to me.
He's not actually a cool character.
All of the writing in that series, I haven't played 4.
No, I'm saying tell me one
They're
thing.
not interesting characters.
Tell me one thing to know about each of them. One
Okay.
thing.
Marcus, born leader. Dominic,
Kills
crybaby.
Kills his wife with a hand cannon.
Bayard, sarcastic butthole. Cole, super hype all the time.
What was the name of the guy?
Nothing interesting about any of them besides
The most
Dom and the
interesting
hand
thing,
cannon.
the most interesting thing that happened in that series is there was a character, and I always forget his name, the one that was always wearing the mask, that
Carmine.
They allowed the players to vote on whether they wanted him to die or not.
Okay, so here's the reason for that is in the first 2 games. Okay,
You think he's dead?
well, hold on. So the thing about the Carmines is that they always die in battle. Always. That's their family lineage. So in the first Carmine brother in Gears of War 1, he gets shot by a sniper.
It's a good thing they're fucking before they go into battle.
Sure.
Otherwise, that'd be a real short line.
Sure. Then the second Carmine brother, he gets his.
I was under the assumption it was all the same guy.
No, they're different. Each one is it's Ben, Anthony, and another one. I can't remember. It's 3 different Carmines.
Are they,
and
are they triplets?
No, I don't think they're triplets. But and the second one, he gets his torso dissolved by acid while in the body of a giant worm. And the third one.
Yeah.
And the third one.
I'm assuming the stomach.
Yeah, like you can see his rib cage and shit is pretty gnarly. And the third one, the Carmine the third Carmine brother, he has the names of his brothers tattooed on his massive bicep. And
if you have massive biceps, use
Sure.
that ad space.
And I guess the fans voted for him not to die, so he doesn't die. So, there are various points at the game where they make you think he dies, but he doesn't die.
I wish that they all died in the belly of an animal.
Sure.
It's Cliffy B, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you talk about you hear him talk about Gears of War and what it became, and he says he never intended it for it to be that way. He had never intended for them to look the way that they look.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted it to be like a Band of Brothers thing.
Right.
That's what inspired him to make that game.
Yeah.
But
And it definitely doesn't evoke the same kind of...
yeah, not at all. No.
So that's because I was thinking about how we were talking about how they tried to make that whole thing between Dominic and his wife like a touching, like tear jerky moment, but like I feel like that undermined like everything that they were doing up to that point.
Yeah.
Because the whole time there was like the whole time up to that point it was just basically, it was basically Predator, with the level of machismo that they were exuding through that whole thing. They kind of, I felt like it should have just been that for 3 straight games. If
Do you
they're
think
like 3 games?
It would have been a touching moment if it wasn't a hand cannon.
No.
Did you play 4?
I've played the first like hour or so.
I want to play like 4 seems the most interesting to me, and I know it's a different studio, but it's the Coalition now, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
I mean, so far it seems really good.
Well, Laura Bailey's there. I like her.
Mm-hmm.
I like the fact that it takes place on like one night. Like that's interesting to me.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Old man Marcus is pretty cool too.
Yeah, that was funny because they did that and God of War did their Kratos reveal and like it was, you know.
Old man.
Yeah, let's look at these old video game people now.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think that it's funny when you try to infuse some kind of depth in a game or story like that.
Well, I mean, God of War's that's exactly what they're doing with this new one.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but then they basically like it's also kind of a
They added depth when they added fucking Pandora, giving everyone goddamn hope. Assholes.
I don't know enough about
assholes.
Gears God of War.
I mean, they've tried to make God of War have some touching moments through every game in that series.
Yeah. The
But
first game you hug your family.
It's also a game where every game in the series has a quick time event where you're fucking, you know, like you can't take that game seriously. I don't think anyone really does.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Hey, you
They're
can
all
fucking
fun,
love your family.
you know.
That's true.
But
they're not mutually exclusive.
Yeah, like that's exactly what they are doing with this God of War is trying to make it more grounded and serious as much as you can.
I really hope that there is a quick time sex event.
I'd bet money on there not being, but we'll see.
I'm gonna make a situation a quick time sex event.
Well, Gears of I can't say them in the same conversation.
God of War.
God of War seems like they're kind of hitting the reset button on, you know, what that character is.
Well, we're starting the new generation.
Yeah. Like, cause there's that whole joke about how Kratos is just this guy who kills shit and yells a lot.
And now he's a guy who kills shit, yells a lot, and has a son. Has a baby boy.
Well, it's funny because like and all the stuff that they show, he's not doing a whole lot of like screaming and yelling, and like a lot of it seems he seems to be more of a he seems to be a more like measured character, and he seems to have a little bit more to him. This is a service observation.
After every fight that his son like instigates and like makes happen because his son fucks up, just like wait till we get fucking home.
I guess I just like, given how classically angry Kratos was, I'm just surprised he didn't fly off the handle when his son accidentally shot him with that arrow.
in the reveal, he does scream.
Yeah.
In the reveal, you do see the meter of him getting more angry.
His rage meter.
Like, I'm sure that's there.
Yeah.
You know.
He's a middle management dad going on an adventure with his son, having a camping weekend.
You know, I've liked a lot of what I've seen of that game so far. But like not knowing that it's like a direct continuation of the first 3 games, I feel like I know I could just like read like a Wikipedia or, you know, whatever, like, to get caught up. But it's like it would feel better to me to like have gone through those stories myself.
You can do it
honestly feel like
very quickly.
Yeah. I honestly feel like A, yes, you could do it very quickly, but B, with God of War, you know, he fought the gods. He's a demigod.
Yeah.
Now he got a son. And
but I'd like to know like what transpired between those things. And like there's like a bunch of really cool looking moments in all of those games that I'd like to play through. Like I watch people, like one of the main things that I hear people talk about with God of War 2 is that early fight against the Colossus of Rhodes, and like I've heard like a lot. I want to do that. I mean,
you have the means to do all of it, and
why don't you do it and do Pursuit of Generation on all 3 of them? Give them a quick story for everyone else who doesn't have the time to play them before it gets out.
Retrospective.
Yeah, and I don't, and like it seems like, and I guess I could say that I would do that, but then again, it's very possible that I would come out of that with no interest in doing that. because I could come out of that realizing that maybe I don't care about God of War to that level.
I feel like all of them are pretty easy stories.
Well, I don't think that there'd be any difficulty in just explaining the stories. I feel like I could explain if I played through the games, I could explain each of the stories in about 5 minutes with very little difficulty.
When you need charts, graphs.
I don't think so.
I know
even in like a traditional retrospective sense, like, yeah, the stories are pretty straightforward. The gameplay mechanics, while like weapons might change here or there, mechanically those games are pretty much the same.
Yeah.
You know.
From what I understand, like this new God of War introduces a loot system.
This new God of War is nothing like the other ones. I know that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think I'm also, and there's also that whole thing.
There's no jump button anymore. You know,
what?
That's a thing.
Yeah.
It's a locked not a locked camera, but over the shoulder. You like it's very different, obviously. Yeah. But I think that's a good thing for the series.
You can't jump in the game?
No.
I don't like that. He's old. His knees aren't that bad, though.
Shanae, I can't remember. Did you ever play The Last of Us?
I played some of it off and on, but yeah.
That's a good over the shoulder dad story.
Yeah, I watched a lot of it on Twitch.
Yeah, so I was listening to Corey Barlog talk about God of War, and a lot of people are criticizing it because they're like, oh, well, it's The Last of Us, you know? And he's talking about how that is such a reductive statement. Like, it's just, they put the camera over the shoulder, and he's got a kid with him, so that makes it The Last of Us.
Right.
You know? I don't know. I'm excited for it.
Well, I mean, how could you not be? Yeah. And I like even being a
dads playing dads.
Sure. Even being a passive fan of God of War, like I got excited when I saw that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and also just I like mythology. I like and like different, just different regions. That's one of the things that always like drew me to God of War. Is that it is pretty easy for somebody who even casually plays video games to hop in and out of. And love the
square triangle, right? Like,
yeah,
that'll get you through the whole game. But...
Yeah, and then I love the mythology aspect. So I like that we're going somewhere different. I like that they're adding more to it. I hope it feels really organic when you're playing it, which you didn't really feel like with any other games.
Wait, what do you mean?
Just because with the quick time events and stuff adding to it, I don't. Is it gonna have a lot of those in this one?
I don't know. I mean,
I haven't really seen any.
From the gameplay we've seen, there has obviously been QuickTime events, and I'm sure there will be in this. Will it be as heavy-handed? Who knows? But
yeah, no, I'm excited. It's a series that has had a long enough break in it to when there's a new game. I'm excited about it. I'm excited what they're gonna do.
When was the last God of War?
2015, probably 2013.
I mean, was 3 or Ascension last?
Ascension.
Yeah. That was a while ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm excited.
I just want to know what the combat's like, because it's not going to be the same. You know, that's apparent just from watching it. It's not the same.
Right.
But God of War to begin with, the combat system was just that, right? Pretty much square, triangle. Occasionally hold a shoulder button to do something else, and that's it. It's no Bayonetta, so I am interested to see what they've done with that.
I don't think it's gonna be. I don't think that game is gonna be a day one purchase for me. Not that I'm not excited about it. It's just that I want to go through those other games first, and also I'm still wanting to get caught up on Yakuza as well, and I have a lot more games in that series to go through than I do with God of War. And that's got a new game coming out pretty soon too. So
what's going on Switch that's exciting?
Aces is pretty close, which I'm excited for.
What's Aces?
The new Mario Tennis.
Oh, that's right.
I don't know. Nothing super exciting. I'm excited for Aces. I'm very excited for Tropical Freeze to be back on there. We know that Smash will be this year now, but
Yeah.
A new Smash or a port?
Not confirmed, but reason to believe it's a new Smash.
Okay.
Because the only thing that's coming out this year that I'm excited about is Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff, like, there are... I mean, last week there was 12 releases on it, right? Like, there's stuff coming out every week for it.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of at the point where it's like, if it's not exclusive to the Switch, it better be something that I want to play handheld, you know?
Yeah.
And I love the Switch, but like, I bought it for Nintendo franchises. And,
well, I mean, we've talked about it before, where like a lot of people,
Floor Kids isn't anywhere else, right? So I got it there.
I say a lot of people, but I can't really say that because I interact with a very small number of people, like relatively speaking. But most people I know that do own a current Nintendo platform, that is not if they digest video game media regularly, the Nintendo platform isn't their only platform. They have it to play Nintendo shit, and they have one of the other consoles to play like all the other stuff.
You're saying you don't know anybody with the Switch as their primary?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it seems more feasible now for someone to do that with
absolutely
with one, there's they have a lot of great exclusive shit on there, and also like with the for me unexpected indie game support on that platform.
See, and I don't understand why it's unexpected. And you're not the only person to say that.
Well, it's because Nintendo, like with the Wii U,
I guess I'm just
really
not used to seeing
burned,
that
like third-party support on that.
Third party, sure, but like independent studios, like that's completely different. If you think back to the original DS, before Microsoft was really doing stuff,
I'm not saying that I've never seen indie games on a Nintendo platform before. I'm just saying that I've never seen this many.
Right. Or even back to the GameCube, right? Like this is long before Sony or Microsoft was doing indie games.
Yeah.
But when you think about it, like comparative to like what is being pushed, particularly Sony is like, oh, indie gaming, like since PS3
You don't think they do that?
With marketing and what you see and what people talk about and how they talk about it and what they promote on their platform is being shown.
Right.
With the Wii and Wii U, I didn't really like nobody was talking about it. They weren't like showing it. They weren't showcasing like indie. And then of course everybody was aware of the third party. And a lot of people with third party and indie go hand in hand.
I won't say that discoverability on Nintendo platforms has not been lacking, because it has been.
Right.
But the games have been there.
Yeah, but but
like I said, since the GameCube.
It doesn't matter if something's there if no one knows about it.
Sure, but it's also not their responsibility to advertise things that they're not publishing.
No, but if you're wanting...
And now they have an entire event dedicated to it, which the other platforms do not.
Yeah, but before you were wanting people to see you in different lights, and then just, oh, this is just a Mario machine... Then yeah, like...
But we're talking literally about one generation, and their shortest generation at that, the Wii U, right? Because with the Wii...
With the Wii, though...
Nobody saw the Wii as only first party.
There's a lot of people who did.
Well, the numbers show
gamers.
otherwise.
Casual gamers.
I don't know. I mean, sales numbers show greatly in the other direction. It wasn't until the Wii U that we actually see this becoming a problem, if we can call it a problem.
Well, when I'm saying unexpected, like I wasn't given the expectation before that I would see a lot of independent titles on a Nintendo platform, and then I tool around on the eShop whenever I look at your Switch, and I'm just like, oh, there's a lot more shit here than I thought there would be.
But like you've had a 3DS since before the Wii U launched, right?
Yeah, but I can't remember the last time I turned on my 3DS.
Yeah.
That battery's been dead for about a year already.
Sure.
So I can't remember the last time I turned that thing on.
But that's not on Nintendo,
Yeah.
And numbers are showing that more and more people are turning on their 3DS.
Right. But again, like I haven't up until this point been given the expectation. I'm not saying that having the expectation would be unjustified. It's just that for me personally, I didn't expect to see all that stuff there.
Sure.
But it is really cool to see, and I like to see people having more availability to that sort of thing, especially if you decide that like, hey, I have X amount of dollars to dedicate to video games. Which platform am I going to get? well, I'm gonna get the platform that I can take with me everywhere, right?
Right.
So, and then to have that, and like this is the only console that I can afford to have right now, and so to have that, and then also see like, whoa, look at all these fucking indie games that I have on here, along with all these Nintendo games on there. That's a really cool thing to.
And not
see
even
happen.
just that, like AAA third party is there.
Yeah.
Not in a huge way, but much more than they had last generation.
Well, yeah, and you know that's, you know, it's easily argued that that's one of the things that really hurt the Wii U, but
one of many.
Yeah. Besides the fact that it was just, you know, not great, but
Hey.
Not my fault. Nintendo juiced you into buying one of those things.
Breath of the Wild.
Sure.
Pretty good on it.
Probably even better on the Switch though.
Slightly.
I mean,
very slightly.
I can take it with me to the DMV if I want to.
Sure.
Oh, I just do it online, so I don't have to go there.
Sure. Probably. It's probably smarter. Yeah, you know, I like seeing, you know, the direction that Nintendo's moving in, and it's made owning a Nintendo platform a lot more appealing to me than it had been previously.
Yeah.
Because
I think the big issue with Wii U was the lack of first-party games, not the lack of indie games.
Sure. Well, then, I mean, again,
there's a lot of problems.
I mean, because I don't think the lack of indie games on the Wii U is really like a good arguing point, because again, like, because I can't say that while also saying that I would buy a Nintendo platform to play Nintendo games. Because if that was the reason I'm buying it, then indie support would be a moot point.
Sure.
You know, and you know, because I have, like, speaking as an individual, I've got more than one avenue that I can use to pursue that interest if I wanted to. But you know, I've only got one place where I can play like shit with Mario in it. You know, so.
And it's also with indie games though, right? Like, 'cause like, think about SteamWorld Dig 2 and how well it has sold across the board, regardless of platform that it's on. That franchise would be unknown if it wasn't for Nintendo.
Right.
You know. The first SteamWorld game was a DSi game, a DSiWare game.
Right.
Right? Nobody's heard of that game.
Right.
SteamWorld Dig 1 was originally a 3DS exclusive. Like, that franchise would be nothing had it not been for Nintendo.
Man, I haven't thought about DSi game, like a DSi exclusive game in a long time. There's only like, less than 20.
I don't remember what the odds
that were like.
It's the DSiWare stuff. It's like the downloadable games that were only downloadable.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's also some DSi exclusive games that only played with the DSi.
A lot of them, yeah. Well, same thing.
That were like physical in
it's like
American
WiiWare.
stores.
A lot of people talking about WiiWare shutting down this week. Not really shutting down, but you can't buy the games anymore. There are so many good exclusive games there that are just like lost now. You know. There are Castlevanias there that you can't get anywhere else.
Right.
Like, just really great stuff.
And they're just like kind of just sitting there.
Yeah. You can't buy them now.
What a waste.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Tom, let me ask you something. Those Castlevania games that you just mentioned.
Yeah.
Would you buy those?
If I could, yeah, absolutely I would.
Okay. Would you buy a new Castlevania if it came out?
So I've thought a lot over the past couple of months about Konami and Quantic Dream.
Right.
And there are two companies that I feel that I don't want to support.
Right.
Oh, sorry, man.
But at the same time, I am one to say, hey, if they turn the ship and start making choices that I think are respectable to the people that built them,
right,
that I would do so. And I feel like Konami is slowly doing that. Quantic Dreams, I feel like it's a bit too soon to tell. Detroit's not even out yet.
What has Konami done to change your opinion? Sorry.
That's what I was going to say.
They are doing things that are more for gamers, such as, and I mean small things, but like the release of Bomberman R on Switch was something that people were very excited about. There are a lot of older people, like me and you, who really like Bomberman and haven't had Bomberman in a long time.
Sure.
They gave that to Nintendo to plant the seed, but they are now putting it everywhere else.
Right.
With exclusive content, free exclusive content for every other platform that it's coming to. They've done things like the Castlevania anime series, which I could be wrong. I'm sure that there's some just anime enthusiasts that are watching it, but it's probably mostly old video game dudes like you and me watching it, you know? They are slowly doing things that show that they have at least some interest in remaining relevant in the game space.
Right.
Castlevania.
As far as the treatment of their employees,
And I feel
how will we ever know?
Was that,
how will we ever know?
Was that what was like the largest thing contributing to your decision not to purchase their content anymore?
No, I mean there's many things. For Konami, it's many things. There's the treatment of the employees, the fact that they spend a ton of money, basically remastering Snake Eater for a pachinko machine instead of an actual game.
Right.
Seeming to show no interest in publishing or developing games outside of what Kojima was making.
MPS.
Sorry?
MPS.
PS?
Pez.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, Pez pays the bills, right?
Sure.
At least partially.
Keeps those lights on.
But, it was a lot of things. Seemingly, like, their employees talk about Konami making their work life so bad in an attempt to make them want to quit.
Right.
And part of that is cultural, right? We know now that Japanese companies very rarely fire their employees.
Right.
But other things like, if you're not meeting this deadline, well, you're going to do janitorial work now.
Sure.
Stuff like that.
And the whole thing is like making you change your work email every month, so that like people can't poach you and things like that.
So I mean, it sounds like they're turning things around, and there's some things that we will probably never know.
Right.
But with their track record, if they continue along this path, yeah, eventually I'll start buying their products again. Quantic Dreams, that wound is so fresh, right?
Yeah, it's hard to say right now.
I don't know why you don't do Quantic Dreams. I feel like I do subconsciously, but I don't remember it like consciously.
There were 2 employees who filed complaints about many things, including like harassment, racist behavior, things of that nature, and that and what we have heard about David Cage in the past makes it believable. Do I know for a fact that they're telling the truth? No, but am I inclined to side with the victim? In most cases, yes. But
I think that David Cage's reaction,
and I love those games.
Yeah.
I was really excited for that game.
I think that David Cage's reaction to the allegations against him makes it more believable. And again, it's one of those situations where, like, look, when Detroit got announced, I was like, oh shit, that looks fucking dope, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even for having androids, I was surprised about how excited you were about it.
Anyway, so like, speaking as someone who was a fan of Indigo Prophecy or Fahrenheit, for those of you who played in other regions, being a fan of that, and just like this game looks like an excellent way to follow up that experience that I remember so fondly. But at the same time, like it gets to a point where it's like, can I, in good conscience, put money in that company's pockets with that stuff in my mind? And
well, I do want to bring up this point too. A lot of people bring up the fact with both of these companies, and other companies for that matter, EA being one of them, is that, well, there are good people that worked on these games.
Sure.
Some of these people that are being victimized are people that worked on this game.
Sure.
And by you not playing the game, you are taking money out of their pocket as well. And I get that argument. I do. But at the same time,
we preach vote with your dollar.
We preach vote with your dollar. And there's also the fact that if Quantic Dreams employees are so unhappy with their working conditions, then maybe it takes that company going down for them to go somewhere else. Hi guys, we're back. Here's Ryan.
Hi.
And then I'm here too. Sometimes.
So Shanae had to take off, so she's not here. So it's gonna be me and Tom right now.
Oh man, it'd be so cool if I could astral project myself.
You just say astro project?
Astral.
Okay.
ASTRAL.
Astro, like the dog.
From Jetsons?
Yeah.
Berto has gotten recently into D&D, and
A D&D?
Gotten into D&D, and Dungeons and Dragons, for those who don't know.
Duns and Dragons.
Duns
It's
and
like Brooks and
Dragons.
Dunn.
Brooks and Dunn.
Duns.
Real quick side note. One time in high school, Ryan and I were in this band, and we played a show at this place called The Cove.
Yeah.
And there was a Brooks and Dunn cutout behind us.
The place that has the car wash and also like...
I don't remember that place very well.
They used to have a laundromat and ice cream parlor attached to it.
They do still have a laundromat, and instead of ice cream, they do kombucha.
Yeah.
What's kombucha?
But yeah, there was a Brooks and Dunn cutout behind our band while we played.
Sure. Good choices.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Duns and Dragons.
so he's been...
Brooks and Duns and Dragons.
I'm so down for that. I would play that.
Brooks and Duns
Duns
and
and
Dragons.
Ship it.
Yeah, so he knows I played Pathfinder for like many years.
What is the difference between Pathfinder and Dungeons and Dragons?
So Pathfinder is basically...
Remember when you quit Pathfinder for us?
Yes. Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Smooth move.
Basically, Pathfinder is based off of Dungeons and Dragons. I think.
But isn't everything?
5.1, or no.
5'1"?
No.
5.1.
Oh.
I think it's based off of Dungeons and Dragons 3.5.
We don't know the
Anyways,
difference.
I
I'll have to
prefer
look it up.
2.6.
It's it's one of those numbers in a decimal, and so he's been asking, so he's like trying to figure out what some of the stuff is and like asking me how to spell certain things with,
Sure.
with the Dungeons and Dragons world. And I am realizing that I am much better at regular spelling than any of that.
What's regular spelling?
Well, like whenever he played,
English.
Sure.
whenever he played, Star Wars, Star Wars Online.
Star Wars
Old
Battles of the Terras
KOTOR,
Kasi.
KOTOR
Not
Online.
KOTOR, the Old Republic.
The Old Republic.
Knights of the Old Republic is a single player RPG.
You're
by
right. Whatever.
Okay.
Anyways, the Old Republic. When I was playing that, and he was like doing
I played that.
It's just called Tor.
when he was doing that, and he was doing RPing, and like had like a group and stuff. Every now and then he would ask me how to spell stuff, and I was and I'm super good at spelling regular words.
How do you spell Dagobah?
Dagobah? Dagabauh? No, that's not right.
Probably right. I don't know. I'm not a fucking nerd.
Has he played Sword Coast Legends?
No.
No.
But also I just like, so I've been like just looking up different Pathfinder stuff because I was I don't think I'm gonna play it again, but I know but I've been going to trivia nights at the Flying Saucer.
Okay.
And I found out that a bunch of people I used to play Pathfinder with go there on trivia nights as well.
The Flying Saucer is a local beer bar.
Yeah.
It's nationwide.
Is it really?
Yes.
Okay.
You know that, dude.
No, I didn't.
So.
Yeah, it's nationwide. Berto's 18 beers away from his plate, his first plate.
Cool.
You have to get 200 beers to your plate on the wall.
Can you do those all in one night?
No, you have to. It's a limit of 3 per night.
They do this printout now.
They've done the printout for a long time.
I'm aware, but when we were 21, they didn't do the printout.
So.
But yeah, it's been getting me like I've been really wanting to do like a tabletop game, and like it's sort of like a one-shot sphere. So.
Do the Dark Souls one.
Yeah.
Berto would probably play that.
Yeah.
Would you come over and play that?
Sure. Only if he RPs.
Well, they would all RP. I'd probably be the dungeon master.
Can I dress up?
You can do whatever you want, honey.
Yeah, honey.
Sorry.
I'm gonna come over dressed up like Berto.
Well, you call Ryan honey from now on, and you call Shanae grandma.
Sure. It doesn't really work because she doesn't have her hair's not gray anymore.
Sure.
So
I've been watching a lot of our old content,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just funny. Like, I talked to Ryan about this last week. I thought about like working it into our trivia, where it was like trivia about shit that we had said before.
Yeah.
That's a funny idea.
But I decided against it. But
It was just like
To not embarrass
just
ourselves.
like for us all to be hypocrites.
And
yeah.
liars.
But it's really it's fun though, because like I notice little things. Like I mentioned to Ryan before, how I'd expressed that I thought Odin Sphere was the perfect game, and he on more than one occasion on the show says that he doesn't think that any game is the perfect game.
Sure.
But then at one point he says Doom is the perfect game.
1993.
You know.
Doom 1993.
Stuff like that. The Spyro collection that just got announced. Like I predicted that months and months ago.
You know, when Tom was a child, he predicted Mortal Kombat trilogy.
Well,
and it happened.
do you remember hashtag Tommy tells you, and then he told us we couldn't do that.
He didn't say
It's
he didn't say we couldn't do that. He just said he didn't want to.
It's just fun. It's fun watching the old stuff.
Well, I mean, I think that it's. I was thinking about this. A few days ago, Tom.
Yeah.
And that like, when opinions change, it always seems to catch you off guard, because you're always like, wait a second, I thought you said. That...
No, but like this, you said this thing about Mortal Kombat before you said there was no such thing as a perfect video game.
Doom.
What I'm saying is you said that, and then you said that, yeah.
Yeah, I had to ruminate on that.
Okay.
But again, opinions change.
Sure. But also, I think that was probably you said that Doom is a perfect game whenever I prompted it, and like it was like you have to say what game is a perfect game.
But I actually do genuinely.
I don't remember.
But I actually do genuinely believe that Doom is a perfect video game.
So the opinion has changed again then.
It changed once.
One time.
No, so you said it was, then you said there was no such thing, and now that you're saying it is. So it changed
no,
twice.
wait. What are you talking about?
First you said Doom is the perfect video game. Then on a later episode you said there's no such thing as a perfect video game.
Was I drunk in either of those?
No.
Okay.
Well, not to my knowledge. We weren't drinking, but you may have been drunk from beforehand.
Sure, I drive over here regularly.
But yeah, so the opinion changed twice.
Shadows die twice, Tom.
Sure, what do you think that is?
I know what I want it to be.
Tenchu?
Yes. Absolutely, yes.
A lot of people are saying that they think it's Bloodborne.
I don't.
That takes place elsewhere.
Which would it be cool, but like I can't see that.
Yeah.
I feel like Tenchu is more likely than another Bloodborne.
Also, they said that they weren't doing another game of that style.
Sure. And that's not really what I want from that company right now, anyway. I would like to see more. I would like to see a revisitation of some stuff that we haven't seen in a really long time. I would like to see another Tenchu. I would love to see another Armored Core.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll see that for a while. But
does Microsoft? No, that was MechWarrior. Never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other things like I'm getting really excited for Spider-Man, especially with all the news that we got this week.
Mm-hmm.
What news this week?
We got a release date. We got the confirmation.
What's the release date?
September, I think 4th, something like that.
September 11th.
We got.
Come on.
We got confirmation that Mary Jane is playable, with which both of us predicted
when
it
was
revealed.
We knew it. We saw this. We saw the cameraman. So.
Yeah. Called it.
Just stop fucking with us and just give us the news up front, man.
Mm-hmm.
Tom, maybe you can illuminate this for me, because I guess I just never understood it. Why release a game on one date in Japan and then release it 2 years later in America?
Typically, that's a localization thing, but it just depends on what game you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always thought that was I guess localization never really occurred to me.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought it was some kind of business decision that I didn't quite understand.
I mean, there's a lot of different reasons why, but that's usually why, right? And at least like back in the day, that was typically why. Because it used to be like everything's out in Japan first. You know, that's not the case now.
Yeah.
But it was because it takes time to translate into English and all that. Doing new textures for button prompts, things of that nature.
Sure.
But that's not often the case anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I hadn't slacked so much.
Other things like Mario 2, right? Like they decided to give us a different Mario 2.
Yeah.
So they like reskin Doki Doki Panic and then give it to us. Which that was Actually, that decision was made by the dude that did all the Nintendo videos back in the day, like the employee videos, like that guy. He made that decision. I don't remember what exactly his title was at Nintendo at the point. But
How
yeah.
important is Mario 2?
I think it's one of the most interesting releases
It's too important.
because it shows that Nintendo thought that Western audiences were not good enough at games to play the Japanese version of Mario 2. It also shows that, like,
Have
ignorance.
you seen that game?
Yeah. Anybody who played Mario All-Stars had it. Lost Levels was Mario 2.
Okay.
It's also funny, like, the ignorance of Western game fans who play Mario 2. And they're like, oh, it's Doki Doki Panic. That's not even the mainline Mario, when Doki Doki Panic was originally developed as a Mario game.
Right.
So it was originally supposed to be a Mario game, changed to Doki Doki Panic,
And changed back.
reskinned as a Mario game for us, you know? Yeah.
So how different do you suppose it probably is from its original incarnation then?
The original Doki Doki Panic?
Yeah.
How different is our Mario 2 compared to that game?
Yeah.
They're almost identical. The big difference is the characters, like the main characters, the playable characters, are different sprites.
Right.
Because we got Mario,
Sure.
Luigi, all that. And that version, the Japanese version, doesn't have a run button.
I can imagine playing Mario without running.
Which is why they added it.
Yeah.
But that game is completely playable without a run.
But
There's no jumps where you need it.
Yeah, well, the only reason I can't imagine that is because the first Mario had it.
Right.
And
you held it the entire time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because why wouldn't I?
Right.
I feel like I remember...
Because you weren't good at shit like me.
You cannot beat Mario 1 without using the run button. You can beat Mario 2 without
I remember you giving me, like, telling an anecdote about... I believe it was your son. You were talking to him about Mario. And... something to do with the run button. He watched it and he was like, I could do that.
We were talking specifically about Hammer Brothers.
Okay.
I don't even remember how the conversation came up. But I was like, back in the day, like, people thought that was kind of a bitch.
Sure.
And he's like, let me see, So I showed him footage of it. And he's like, that looks easy, you know? So I booted it up on an emulator. I'm like, here, play the game. And, like, he's just walking, because he doesn't, like, instinctively think that he needs to hold down a run button.
Because he was raised in an age of analog sticks.
Right. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's just funny.
Yeah.
But
Sure showed him.
Speaking of kids and video games, Tuesday is the Overwatch Uprising event. So I'm gonna
bet Bailey's excited.
Yeah, I'm gonna let her stay home from school. We're gonna play Overwatch.
Aw, I love that.
Yeah.
Best dad ever.
Yeah, it'll be cool. I think I could be wrong. I think maybe it's a horde mode type thing. I'm not positive though.
I have Tuesday night off.
Okay.
I'm saying I'll come over and just watch Bailey do shit.
Well, we're playing during the day, girl.
So
During the day, what time?
I mean, kids wake up early.
you know.
I don't know what time that goes live.
So
What's going to be really funny is if I let her stay home and it goes live in the afternoon.
like after when she would have been at school.
Yeah.
Either way, I mean, at the very least, she'll get to stay home and play some Overwatch.
Sure.
So.
And hang out with their dad.
Yeah.
Quality time.
But I mean, it's the Overwatch, though.
Yeah.
She's still playing that
maybe
nightly?
if it doesn't happen till afternoon, you can get her to clean up that cat poop.
She's not playing it nightly, but she's playing it frequently. It's the game that she's playing the most of right now.
Yeah,
Is she still playing Sims?
It's been a while, but like in that time, she's played a lot of other games to completion.
What games? You said she was working on that Portal plushie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
She's doing a Portal plushie in art class. It's the turret. She's doing the turret. She thinks they're funny.
They are funny.
Which is funny because like I don't imagine any of her friends will know what the hell it is.
Sure. She's cooler than her friends.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Yeah, but like she finished Edith Finch. She finished Journey. You know, she's been doing her stuff.
What did she think? What was her reaction to Edith Finch?
She loved Edith Finch. We talked about it for a long time, but like that was a couple months ago.
What did she think?
She loves it. Yeah,
I'm very curious about like if there's any specific details you remember, like or any like stories that got to her, because like obviously the baby in a bathtub is
Don't talk about that.
Terrifying.
Yeah, no, like
That like seriously really bums me out when I think about
she
it.
liked Molly's story quite a bit, which I didn't expect. So Molly's is the one that's kind of like Tales from the Crypt comic book.
I love
Yes.
that so much.
You know?
I love that.
Oh, I mean, it's very.
But like she wouldn't
it's-
get that reference, you know.
But it's also, even if she doesn't get the reference, it's also a very visual part of the game. Like, and I mean, obviously all of it is, but it's very colorful. It's a different tone.
Sure.
It's like, yeah, no, it's unique.
Yeah.
Um,
I would. I wonder. Actually, I'm curious because, like, I would love to see her perspective of Florence.
she played it.
What'd she think?
She liked it a lot.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it's like she has not been in that sort of relationship yet.
Sure.
Like she's got boys that she's had crushes on and stuff like that, but she
Sure.
hasn't actually been in like an adult relationship, moved
Right.
in with somebody yet, you know.
Yeah.
But she enjoyed it. The Journey thing was really interesting because she finished Journey in one sitting, and like she didn't have a PlayStation Plus account at the time, so I was like, "Don't play this game until you have PlayStation Plus."
Right.
I was like, "There's something that happens if you have PlayStation Plus. I don't want to tell you what it is because I don't want to spoil it for you."
Right.
You know. So I get her own PS Plus account, let her play it. She plays it, and I'm like, in the back of my mind, I'm so excited for her to finish the game so that she can realize that these people are real people that she's
Right.
been playing with the whole time.
Right.
Because it doesn't reveal it to you until you beat the game.
Yeah.
She realized right away that was not an NPC. You know.
What, like, did she say what tipped her off?
No, but she was just like, hey, somebody else is playing with me. I'm like, how the fuck did you know? Like, I didn't know until I finished the game.
Yeah.
You know.
Kids are perceptive.
Yeah. But she did like it a lot, though. She came very close to crying, but
Well, I also
Yeah.
feel like maybe like, telling her that like you had to wait till you had PS Plus was also a bit of a tip off.
yeah, maybe.
Kids are so smart.
It's always just been a fascination of mine to, kind of watch your kids grow up
Yeah.
with these video games and
So, like, I don't remember like the last time you guys played Journey, but like there's a point towards the end where you are led to believe that the traveler has died.
right.
And man, I looked over at her and I thought for sure she was gonna start crying.
She was just
But,
she was stone cold like a fucking champ.
No,
So
she was
that
not.
lip was quivering and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So have you talked to either of your have you broached the subject of like BioShock to either of your kids and talked to them about that?
I've been talking to my daughter about it more so than my son, only because my son is still. I mean, he's younger,
Right.
you know.
Yes.
I mean, he's playing Garden Warfare right now. That's what he wants to be playing, you know. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Sure, sounds kind of a badass. So
But
you do him.
but yeah, I think that now that she is getting better
Right.
at shooter controls,
I think Bailey would love BioShock 1 and 2.
yeah,
Especially little sisters. She'd probably love that.
yeah, maybe.
Mm.
I don't know. I'd
'Cause,
like
like,
to.
'cause
I'd like to
as
have her
somebody-
read Fountainhead and then play BioShock 1. And Fountainhead is something that, even though it's hard for an adult, she's kind of Rain Man when it comes to that stuff.
Sure.
Like she'll finish that in a day or two.
Right.
How much of it she'll actually understand, I'm not sure, but that's just because of the language used.
Right.
You know.
Right.
But I'd like to have her read that and then play the game.
Yeah.
Everyone always thinks BioShock and thinks Atlas Shrugged, and it's like you obviously haven't read any of these books. You know.
Well, I
But,
I've one like I don't know the older. I'm just gonna preface this by saying like the older I've gotten, the more I've realized that Ayn Rand was kind of full of shit. But like
opinions may vary, sure.
but like if you've like reading Atlas Shrugged and reading and playing BioShock, it's kind of like similarities they don't really line up.
No, they don't.
In the way that like people are saying they do.
Well,
like,
then that's not what they're influenced by. They're influenced by Fountainhead.
right.
But
But yeah, I think also like if Atlas Shrugged is one of the first things that you read in a genre like that, and like it's the first thing to like, I'm gonna do air quotes here, like broaden your horizon, like, and that then yeah, of course it's gonna seem more deep and awesome than it is. But I feel like that's like when you're young, everything that like is new and opens your mind to a new possibility is like, oh, this is deep and amazing.
I think with
But,
BioShock, it was
but,
as
as
simple
you-
as people saw the name Atlas and were like, oh, that's the one it's based off of.
Right.
And it's not. you know.
Right.
But
Yeah, I would really like to, because I mean, I've talked to your daughter in passing about like games that she's playing and what she likes about them, and I'd like to see. It would be really cool to see like what her like because I played that game as a 24-year-old, 23-year-old, and it would be interesting to see like what a 12-year-old's perspective of the themes in that game are.
sure.
Because I was able to I I digested them as an adult,
Right.
and
As much as a 24-year-old is, right?
right, and so now I can't imagine like playing through that game and seeing it past the surface level, like as a 12-year-old. So, but
Yeah.
it would be interesting to see if she picked up on any of that stuff.
I mean, I think the whole Atlas Fontaine thing would blow her mind.
Yeah.
Even though, like, by now it's pretty standard. Like, we probably would have called that from a mile away nowadays.
Yeah, yeah.
Back then, that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
But,
And even with the way that narratives and video games and pretty much every other medium has changed over the past decade, it's still one of my favorite plot twists of all time.
sure.
And it's a very powerful and effective one. And so I don't know, like, because I know that she reads a lot of fiction. I don't know, like,
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of writing conventions like the authors that she reads adhere to, but like, I wonder if she would pick up on that right away.
I mean, there's things that I wouldn't think she would like to read that she ends up liking,
Yeah.
more adult stuff. But most of what she reads is like teen novels,
Sure.
Yeah.
I found myself in a young adult section today at Half Price Books.
But like she's been reading
That was really weird.
she's been reading Lamb
Nice.
by Christopher Moore, which like touches on a lot of weird like biblical things, you
Sure.
know, and it's definitely not for kids,
Right.
but she's been digging it.
She's okay with it, so.
Yeah, it's
I don't know.
teenage Jesus and his buddy Biff.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like I feel like now in like the last like say like 5 to like 9 years, there's been a lot more freedom within the young adult fiction than there has been in some of the adult fiction. Just because like normally what signifies it being an adult is having explicit sex in it, and sometimes
Or F words.
sometimes I feel like that detracts from the journal story. And also just like what editors and publishers are looking for when it
Sure.
comes to adult fiction rather than young adult fiction. And yeah, like no, there's been quite a few young adult fiction franchises that I've gotten really into in the last couple of years.
I feel like popular fiction has been lacking for the last several years.
I
But
like a Red Rising trilogy, and then in the last couple months, there's like a new expansion which is called the Iron and Gold trilogy, which is in the same universe but 10 years later. That like I really like, and that's newer, and that's really good. I'm not saying that all of the story points are brand new, but it is a lot
what
more.
is now, right?
But it is a lot more interesting and a different take than stuff I'm reading in the adult fiction side. Even though it's the young adult fiction, even though they talk about like one guy having a wife, the main character has a wife and she dies, and he like, definitely reminisces about like being with her and being around her. Not necessarily in a sexual aspect, just like in a camaraderie, like this is my other half of my soul aspect. But, like
Also sexual though.
Sure.
Heavy emphasis on the sexual aspect.
so much,
Heavy
so
petting
much
on
sex.
The sex.
So-
So when like Shanae said like it's not brand new. Like one of the things I hate, well I don't hate it, but like I always like take it with a grain of salt when someone says that like something in a game is derivative. It's like, well, I mean, people have been making video games for like over 40 years. Like people are gonna like borrow shit,
Yeah, I agree with that, but at the same time, 40 years compared to other art forms that have been around for hundreds of years,
Yeah.
and still, creators find like new things.
Yeah.
You
But-
would think that a medium that is so young,
but think
people
about,
would be able to find new things.
Yeah.
But think about it in a 4-year span of any of those art forms, like say like portrait painting or whatever. In like a 4-year span, there's not that much difference. It's a lot of it, like even by different painters, a lot of
That's a good point. That's
Yeah.
a fair point. I think that's why I was so taken by Nier Automata's story. I mean, I like the gameplay as well, but like the story in general, like that story's been told 1,000 times, but never in that way,
Right.
you know?
Those so you went through 26 endings, right?
I went through 25. There's
25.
one ending that I'm just like, fuck it, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
Why not?
Because it's going to take too much time, and
You're
it's not
one away. You are one away.
It's going to take too much time, and it's not an important ending to the story.
Right.
Yeah.
One away.
Like the idea of having some additional story elements to, like, a broader story arc, in the way that Nier Automata did was, I've seen games with like multiple endings before, right? I've played mini games with like multiple endings, but
Sure.
like I've never seen it done that way. And like, granted, like not all the endings were like of any consequence.
Yeah, only
right?
5 of them matter.
Yeah, like it had like, because like there are a lot of like when I was sitting here watching you go through, like, rattle off a few, and a lot
Sine sat on my bed. She watched me do like 2 or 3 endings before we recorded last week.
Yeah, and it just like, it seemed like a lot of them were like very throwaway. Like someone like wrote those down on a cocktail napkin and like that made it into the game.
21 of them are throwaway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the fact that it was done anyway.
Yeah.
I think it's cool to have like little things, because it seemed more like a little thing for you to find than it was, to give you more story.
And to me, it's like, it's not even about that. Like Yoko Taro, right? He talks about the game and how they put a lot of things in there, but they don't want you to do everything, right?
Yeah.
This is why you can purchase the achievements.
Right.
They don't want you to do everything. You're not intended to. But, when we talk about like that type of story, you think of Ex Machina or Terminator 2 Judgment Day or
Favorite movie of all time, by the way.
Her or whatever, right? And like, it does it better than all of them,
Yeah.
It really does. But, yeah. I don't know.
I really love You remember when we were talking about how cool it would be to get like a new modern Terminator 2 licensed game?
Yeah, that'd be awesome. You remember our Terminator Witcher crossover?
Yeah.
Because Terminators are time travelers, you see, Sinead.
Yes.
So it would still make sense for them to be there.
Sure.
Yes.
Just imagine you're playing The Witcher 3.
Yes.
And you're just riding through the countryside, and you look off into the distance,
Oh
and, then you see a bunch of time travel orbs show up, and then like there's a bunch of naked fucking Arnold Schwarzeneggers in the background, like with fucking laser rifles, like.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, that'd be really good. Yeah, I don't know. I think that would be great. But I watching what I saw for Nier. Like I said this last week. Like I love that game seemed to do multiple genres, but also make those genres entertaining. Like the shooter levels. Like you seem to be having fun with that. You seem to be having fun with like the hacking mini games.
The only thing that I'd say is lacking as far as a gameplay standpoint is like the VN part, the visual novel part. Yeah. Like, it's all right.
Sure.
You kind of feel like you're just reading text.
Sure.
And that's what a lot of visual novels feel.
There's a choice here or there.
That's how most of them feel.
But
yeah, we will be right back though.
Oh, will we?
Yeah,
time?
We will.
Wow.
And for some reason we made the rule where if one of us did it, all of us had to do a shot.
Which defeated the purpose.
Did we really?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Because
wow.
Every time one of us did the thing, then we were all punished.
Yeah.
With a shot of Jägermeister.
See, I think the worst thing about that is at some point of drunkenness, I feel like I would start to do it on purpose. You know?
Yeah, you were doing it on purpose.
Is that the same night that you busted your nail or no?
I think so.
It was.
Yeah.
Is that the lost episode?
Yeah, we deleted that.
Not lost, destroyed.
Yeah.
Remove all evidence.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there anything you want to plug, Ryan?
No.
Just plug it in?
No.
I got a new record this week that I'm really excited about.
Oh, what'd you get?
Is it Thriller?
No, that'd be really cool. I imagine getting that. I imagine that would be kind of expensive.
No, it wouldn't.
Nah.
Depending.
I guess depending on where you got it, because some people try to juice you.
Yeah.
Did I tell you that I saw that?
Oh yeah, what record?
I saw Siamese Dream for $34.
Cool.
Seems kind of steep.
I like that album.
I mean, I do too, but it just seems kind of steep.
Yeah.
Oh, I got Perturbator's album New Model.
How's it?
I've only listened to side A, but it's really good so far.
Oh, nice.
Here's the thing: records that came out around the time, like you were saying, Thriller, right, or something even before then, right? Anything that came out at a time where vinyl was the main source of audio listening pleasure. Those are all relatively cheap and easy to find because there was heavy print of most of that stuff. Not everything, but most of that stuff had heavy print. Now you're talking about stuff like Siamese Dream in the 90s.
Any of the Beatles.
In the 90s, Siamese Dream's not Beatles. In the 90s, when vinyl was not popular at all.
Oh man.
You know.
Yeah.
The print run on that stuff was much lower, so it's going to demand a higher price.
So, if you were to purchase Siamese Dream on vinyl, would you say $35 is a fair asking price?
I played more than that for the majority of the Beastie Boys catalog that came out at that time.
Like per record?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I'm looking forward to that Demon Days reprint that's gonna come out soon. But yeah, I got a new record. That was pretty much it. And I listened to one side of it and I really liked it. So
You didn't
Nice.
listen to the other side.
I'm listening to the other side when I get home.
Yeah.
While I drink a cup of orange juice and stare at my dog.
But what were we talking about when I was at your house the other day? We were talking about like putting it on and then we're like, well, flip it over. I forget what it was.
What?
Yeah, we were making fun of something. I can't recall though.
Flip it over.
Yeah, we were talking about like turning the record over, but I don't remember what it was.
Oh, yeah.
Like kind of like when we joke about the pig lips.
So
could you pass me the lips?
So I feel like it's safe to say this now
do we-
because I don't think it's ever gonna happen.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
But because Sinead, you made a claim at one point that you would try any snack at least once. And so
Yeah.
like Tom and I were like that night we went on Amazon
and
to
found the worst snacks.
So we found dried bugs, and
I eat that.
and then we found pork brains, and then we found
I don't
pig
know
lips.
about
then we
that
found
one.
then we found pickled
Pig lips.
pig lips.
I don't like pickles.
I mean, you said on the show that you would do it, you know. But the best thing was like the reviews for this stuff on Amazon.
Yeah, because
Like all the bug stuff, none of them were like these taste bad or this is gross.
there's like worse.
All the reviews are like, I thought there'd be more than this, like stuff like that.
Or no, the best one was the pork brain reviews because it just read like a bunch of zombies. Like,
Yeah.
like where's the brains?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's again a general statement. Like most snacks, if I go to try once, I am revising this. I've grown up. My opinions have changed. I don't like pickles in general. Like I don't like pickled.
Well, they're not pickles; they're pickled.
So I don't. So like most pickled things, I'm pretty suspicious of.
Yeah,
And pickled,
especially lips.
I think it would be funny if you tried it and then you developed a taste for
Yeah, and then
pig
you had to
lips.
continue to order pig lips off of Amazon.com.
are we about to get sponsored by Amazon? Is that what? Because it feels like we just keep
Man,
saying
we're
it.
gonna
Like,
we're gonna get sponsored by fucking Hank's Pig Lips or whatever it is.
I try it. I don't know if I would like it, but I try it. If you want to send us some free ones.
Sure.
I'd be willing.
What's your
I'd actually no, like I'm actually totally down to pay for a jar of pig lips if you'd eat the pig lips on camera.
You have to eat it with me.
No, I
Oh,
paid
yeah.
for them, and you're the one who made the claim that you would eat any snack.
That's true.
I'm not the one who made that claim.
You wouldn't try it?
I'm a
would-
notoriously picky eater, so no, I wouldn't. So
Yeah.
Why? Why don't you want to try food? It might be good.
Lips aren't food.
All right.
anyway, that's the show for this week, guys. As always, I hope you enjoyed it because it was a pleasure to bring it to you. My name is Ryan Robinson. That's Shanae Howard.
What's up?
That's Tom Shelby.
Goodbye.
This has been the Safe Continue podcast. We'll see you next week.